Hi, I'm Bryan with Pioneer Builders. Welcome to the Build Show. Right now we're in Allen, Washington. We've got 3 houses that we built next to each other. The first one is sold, the second one is at finishes. This is the house we're going to focus on today. We used a thin brick exterior. We used Orkin Delta dry and lath underneath it. We're going to give you some of the particulars about that. First, as a spec builder, I have to think in terms of if something looks good to a buyer. You've heard the term curb appeal, so for this house I want to take a couple of minutes and walk you through that. This is a pretty tall house. The backside is only 2 floors, but on the front it's 3 full levels. We opted to go for thin brick to differentiate it from the other 2 houses that we just talked about. The brick here really gives a nice feel of stability, that the house is founded upon something firm. For a little bit of dimension, we stacked the brick on the frame. That gives a little bit of dimension, so it's not just a big flat slab. And then over the top, the brick ends up going on its long dimension. And so what that really is it's called a soldier course. The rest of this is all a running bond. So that's the aesthetics. We interplayed it with just some simple lining for the trim, for the openings, but we also paid attention to what's behind the brick. Our concrete behind it comes up to about here, which you can see on the inside. Then above that is wood frame, but from the outside it all looks monolithic. It looks like one single type of material. We have to manage for water and those types of things, and here's the product that we used for that. We'll talk about this in a second, but when it comes to water, you want to think of the lowest section all the way through to the highest section. You can't ignore any of it. So coming in here for a little bit of a detail, we have a very simple, rigid flashing. This helps so that when the water comes down, it'll go past the joint of where the asphalt butts into the stem wall. That joint is where water can seep in, and over time it can saturate the soil and you can run into some problems over years. When it comes to durability, we can't think about, will there be a problem in 2 or 3 years? What about 20, 30, 40, 50? So using a metal flashing keeps that water where we want it to go. But there's another special flashing that we have, and that's this one here. That's the weep screed. So there's holes in here, and that too allows for water to pass through. So we've done those 2 layers. Then as we come up, and you can't see it back there, but we have a bug screen. You need to know your environment a little bit. Maybe someplace that's very, very cold, you could get away without having it. Honestly, we don't have a lot of bugs up here that create problems when it comes to our structures. But that's something that's, it's not a bad practice to get into. It's pretty easy. So then also behind this brick, we can talk about the Orkin Delta dry and lath. This is the outside facing of it. This dimple side that you see here is what goes up against the concrete, and then it bridges up where the wood frame portion is. This allows it for there to be airflow, and if there does happen to get water in there, water can flow through there. This is a fiberglass product. If you've seen more conventional, say, stucco applications, they might use a metal, like a chicken wire, something like that. Over time, that can start to rust out. This fiberglass is going to last an incredibly long time. I did want to talk a little bit about how to actually install this. It would be different for the wood frame portion versus the concrete. The wood frame, I think the technical specs say something like 16 inches on center. We've used this product before. I reached out to their tech support, and 24 on center is just fine. That's our standard practice, is 24-inch on center framing. For the concrete part though, that's where it takes more work. What we used on this house was, I think it's a split drive is what this guy is called. It's a lot more laborious. You have to drill into the concrete, then put this through the membrane, and then hammer it in, and as that expands, it ends up holding the membrane. So really when you think about it, this membrane becomes the structural support for the brick, and so this provides the structural, I'll say, adhesion into that concrete. My brother's our lead framer, and this was pretty rough on him. If we had to do it again, we'd probably use these guys. I think they're Simpson Titans. whatever the actual spec is. Now these are longer than what we would actually need, so we'd probably go for something shorter, but you want to take those items into consideration. We installed this in-house instead of having the mason do it, but if you're having your mason do it, you'll want to make sure that you've designed even the installation of this, especially because they may not have experience with it. So those are just some of the things that you want to go through the thought process of the actual installation, and then who's responsible for what part of the scope of work of installation. Something else that I like about this product is it's an all-in-one assembly. It's like we use Huber zip system sheathing. It's because it's kind of a one and done. It's a well-engineered product that accomplishes a lot of steps at the same time. We're a pretty small spec builder, so anything we can do to speed up the process is important to us. So this accomplishes that purpose. Rather than, say, using 2 number 15 felt for your WRB, then putting the chicken wire on, then your scratch coat, and going from there, you just get to do it one and done. And it's going to have that durability. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is one of my very first videos on the Build Show Network. I am so honored to be here with some of these other folks. I've been watching them for a long time. Been watching Matt for years. I hope you learned something. We're kind of a unique firm in that we own the land, we build the houses, we sell the houses. Sometimes we don't even sell them and we end up renting them. So this channel is going to cover a huge gamut of topics because we are so integrated into so many of these different facets of construction. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.